Alright, hello there, welcome to this new video. We've had a new drip marketing dropping on the official X, formerly Twitter, Wuthering Waves account. So let's start by reading the little bit of text that might give some context, and then we are getting into the art itself. The post-lament Anthropocene, stars intertwined. Hello, got anything you don't need? Her stomach is open for business. Roccia. So, because it's based on Italian culture, I believe it would be Roccia, technically. Like, or it would be Roccia. Pistachio, Roccia. Yeah, I believe so. If it was CH, it would be Roccia. But because it's double C, it's like a cappuccino, right? So it would be Roccia. Archive. Roccia is a gifted improvisational comedian and the first mate of the Fool's troupe, known for her mastery of stage props. With a tranquil, composed disposition, she navigates the ship's quarters, perched atop a giant box, meticulously ensuring the troops remain orderly and tidy. So this is very, very cool because it does mean that I was actually right. I did some... Okay, I'm not trying to glaze myself, but I'm saying I was like kind of thinking of like what kind of aesthetic they were going for and what it could mean in terms like of a potential group or a faction. And I was saying how Roccia and Brent, I think his name is, the guy that has like a pirate hat-ish. And I was thinking how they had like similar outfits, and I was thinking how they could be a troupe, but he seems to be like a sailor at least. So here with both the idea that she's the first mate of the Fool's troupe, and obviously they talk about navigating the ship's quarter, etc, etc. So it seems that they might be a wandering troupe that maybe go place to place on their ship, and then they perform wherever they go, right? So that's very, very cool. And she is the first mate. So he's the captain, she's the first mate. Obviously they're the same faction. That's very, very cool. So we can see here the art is looking absolutely fantastic. It's obviously very, very cirque, and it's very cool. How do you say cirque? Circus in English. And here we can actually see the box in the back here is what's open there. So we can't see that much, but essentially we saw before she was sitting on the big box, right? And I was saying how it looked to be a tool for like magic trick, with like the chain, etc. I could see definitely it being used for an escape trick, for example, an escape performance, right? And from inside that box, we see a lot of things coming out, or at least it looks like it's coming out. So we see like balloons, bunoys, a lot of props, obviously. And she's looking great. She seems to be like dancing and performing, and we see the big cat-ish shadow, or the feline shadow, I suppose, coming out as well. So the art looks great. I think it fits well with her aesthetic, obviously. And it kind of makes me wonder what kind of ability she's gonna have, right? Because I think with all of these, I could definitely see her... I mean, because she seems to be a magician, right? I could see her being gauntlets, I guess, because she would be having a lot of, you know, a magician has a lot of dexterity, and they can, you know, do some, you know, cards and various item manipulation. So maybe she could do that. Kind of like a similar playstyle to Yohu, right? Like Yohu, she does not like. Yeah, some of her attacks she does do some punches and kicks and headbutts and butt-butts. But I could see her like doing some like props explosion and like throwing cards every now and then in her sequences, right? The other thing I could see would be something like a rectifier, and maybe the rectifier she has, even though she has a rectifier, maybe the thing she would be attacking with the most would be that feline shadow, right? The same way that maybe... Well, not the most, but if you look at Lumi, she does attack with the claymore, and sometimes the little hamster she has attacks with the claymore, right? So it could be kind of a mix of that. So maybe sometimes she attacks with the rectifier, but by controlling the rectifier, it's actually the shadow that attacks, right? Or that could be the case also if she was a gauntlet user. So I think she would be one of those two. In terms of weapon, apart from that, not much really gives me big... I mean, I guess a sword could be it. Like, maybe she could have a sword that she uses as most as like a cane, you know, like for like some tricks and some stuff like that. Like a, you know, the baton with the bendrol at the end of it that you can use, like gymnastics sometimes have. But it doesn't really give me those vibes, really. It's kind of hard to tell here because she doesn't seem to really have a weapon there, right? Compared to when we saw Carlotta, she did have a gun right there. Unless I'm missing something, maybe the idea would be those. She has some rings on the fingers. It kind of reminds me. That's a long time ago, but essentially it reminds me of a Detective Conan case where there was a magician that had many rings like this, and he actually had his thumbs rings had thread in them, and it allowed him to do some prestidigitation because the thread would be very, very thin. So maybe it's something similar to what Yinlin has, and she can use those. Maybe those rings have threads in them for her tricks, and she uses that to control her rectifier or a puppet or various kind of props, right? I don't think it would be puppet, that would be too similar, but maybe just props or the shadow or whatever, right? So that's very cool. That would be my speculation. Now, in terms of like what she has, I think she probably going to be using the big box for ultimate. I could see her going into the box for the animation of the ulti, and then the box would open and it would just explode and she appears like behind the enemy. That could be like something pretty cool. Probably something very magic related and like, you know, just disappearing act or something like that. That would be really nice. Now that said, I think she looks quite cute here. I'm still not fully in love with the outfit, to be honest. I think it's colorful, but not necessarily. I kind of like the purple. I think it's just the haircut. And some of the fluff I'm not the biggest fan of. I don't know. Generally speaking, I really like fluffy outfits. But here, it doesn't really work for me. I'm not too sure why. I'll have to put my finger on it at some point. And we've seen all of the other characters. So I think on paper for now, unless I'm fully in love with the gameplay when we see it, for me, this is probably going to be a skip. I'm going all in on Carlotta, and Roccia seemed to be the second phase of 2.0, sorry. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to skip her and start saving for potentially Zanny, right? Those are the Carlotta and Zanny, the two characters I absolutely want. Maybe Phoebe, I'm not too sure yet. Now, we also have a secondary post right here. And it says, the piccolo box she carries seems to hold everything in the universe, a cascade of confetti and ribbons in countless hues, dazzling lucinites, and fireworks that light up the theater with joy. They burst forth from her box, crafting a vibrant stage for drama and celebration. Okay, let's have a look at the little thing here. We have a little bit of a L2D. Yeah, it's just a little animation. It's nice to see. So yeah, I could definitely see her, like the box being used for the ultimate for, you know, it opens, it's a bunch of fireworks, it explodes in the enemy, stuff like that, you know. That could be very cool. Alright, so that's gonna be it. And yeah, as I was saying, because I see someone saying that here, lower. I thought that she would be a 4-star, because I was looking at all the characters, and I was like, okay, not all of them are going to be 5-star, right? So I was like, kind of considering, okay, who's going to be a 4-star, who's going to be a 5-star? And I thought Roccia would be a 4-star, but no, she's a 5-star. Someone said that all the characters there would be 5 stars. And I mean, so far they seem to be right, so we'll see. And I mean, if she's a 5-star, I refuse to believe that someone like Zanny could be a 4-star. I simply refuse. So maybe those are actually all 5-star and they just drip marketed for like 2 or 3 patches, right? Because we have, right now we have those 2 coming in. They're probably gonna have like, I feel like we might get a patch with like this guy and then a 4-star, and then maybe her and her come out together again. Like I could see her and that girl working together somehow, because she's like a sentinel and this woman seems like a bodyguard. Anyway, we'll see. But yeah, I'm very, very looking forward to it. Unfortunately, yeah, as I was saying, Roccia is not really for me, I think. We'll see in the future if my mind changes. But do let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I think she's still very cute. Like, subscribe, all the good. I'll catch you on the next time. Bye!